All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. Oh my goodness, I have missed you. I've missed saying that. I am so excited to do this one, all right? And really, a lot of things have happened over the last week, so a few different things to go over, all right? So we have the reschedulization hearing has been postponed. We had some very pro legalization comments from Trump over the weekend. We actually have the Dow Jones doing really well. And we have elections basically 2.5 months away, right? So basically that little final stretch of it, right? So there is a bunch of things happening. I would say there's more good than bad in that set of four right there, but a crazy reaction to that postponement. And I think over the weekend, it looks like a lot of people are expecting a big reaction from the Trump comment, all right? So I'll give you my thoughts on all that. I'll give you my technical thoughts based on the lines that I see. At the minimum, man, I'm so excited to do this thing all over. And it's been a long week, and I can't tell you how much I've missed it all right? But very excited. But before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. Excuse me, we have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then, when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So, I'm going to kind of go over more of general comments that are really across the whole sector. All right. So I normally take us to the fireplace for something like this, but I think the charts are really going to help highlight a number of things. All right. So the first thing I really want to talk about is the Dow Jones. All right. Whenever I talk about this sector, I always flash the Dow Jones. All right. We're literally talking about farming. We're literally talking about selling things in stores. There's very little technology. There's no online e-commerce. Like, this is Dow Jones Industrial, right? And look, we are over all 5 moving averages. We're actually bouncing on the 8 moving average. We broke our golden line resistance. I mean, there is nothing but good going on in the Dow Jones, right? When I look at the S&P 500, I mean, all we're doing is basically the same thing, right? So to see these actually have some really nice weeks is a little bit annoying, because the way it should work is, if the indices are good, the stock should be good, right? Like I always say, those are the ocean, and we're basically riding the current with whatever stocks we pick, right? If those indices are doing well and the sector kind of isn't, there's reasons to be concerned, all right? And I will very much say Monday and Tuesday dictated a lot of it, and it really was because of this DEA stuff. So give me a second. Let's search for DEA. This is the headline. Let's click into this. Oh, I can't. There we go. So look, I live on the West Coast, right? So 2 o'clock is 5 o'clock Eastern. That means the market is closed, and it actually means post market is closed, right? On the 26th, at the end of the day, basically, there was an official postponement that started going over all over the place. I also saw it from very reputable publications, so it's not like only a couple people covered this thing, okay? So when we go to the charts, we were up here on the 26th. The next day, we take a real bad red. When we look at CGC, on the 26th, we were here. On the 27th, we gap down, fall as low as almost 5, and I mean, just continue from there, right? When you look at MSOS, same fall, right? So that DEA headline, my goodness, right? This really messed up some neutral momentum. I don't want to say good momentum, but look, even MSOS, this thing was at least staying flat and staying within the moving averages, right? Although backwards. CGC was at least here. It was holding the moving averages, right? Tilray, it was actually on the higher side of the moving averages, but oh man, that Monday, Tuesday postponement did some crazy things. And I mean, when you look at the Dow Jones, it's not like the Dow Jones was doing beautifully those days too. Doji and maybe some bad news sector related. I can see that reaction happening. Even the whole week, right? It's kind of been a little uncertain, little uncertain, little uncertain. Friday was probably the best day of it, right? So it as good as the Dow Jones was looking, that wasn't the strongest of weeks for it. And yeah, man, that just really hurt this thing, right? Obviously, that news puts us under all the moving averages on Tilray, but hey, we have so many, we have all five of the moving averages so tight, right? So we're still kind of living in the tornado with that. But so far, those are at least two of the four things I really wanted to talk about: Dow Jones and the DEA thing. So over the weekend, there was a very loud Donald Trump post. Let me find it because I know it was here. Sorry, let's jump to the present. 1 second. Right here. Listen, I don't care if you like Trump or you hate him. I don't care if you're going to vote for him or not. That has nothing to do with what we talk about in the videos, right? But this is from Trump on his Truth Social site. You can see it says retruths instead of retweets. I've never seen that. I thought that was so clever. So in Florida, like so many other states, weed will be legalized for adults. Whether people like it or not, this will happen through the approval of voters, so it should be done correctly. All right, there's obviously a little bit in the beginning, a lot more after. You can keep this pause and read the whole thing. I saw some people say make America safe again. They thought that this was in reference to the SAFE Act and like this and that. Listen, I number one, this is a really loud comment. I don't want to like pretend it isn't, right? The guy doesn't necessarily say he says he agrees with it or disagrees with it. He goes basically, hey, it's gonna happen, and that's as blunt as the guy's gonna get about it, right? That's a good thing, and believe me, I want this to bring volume, and I want this to like bring hype and excitement and all that, right? But I'm just not sure if that headline by itself screams, let's regain the moving averages. If it screams, let's regain the moving averages, right? Now, one thing I said in the beginning is, look, we are only a couple months away from the election, and that's kind of leading into the fourth thing as well, right? This should be the moment where the political figures, again, I don't care who you're voting for, it doesn't matter who I'm voting for, we just want volume and attention and good headlines for the sector. That's all we're here for, right? The sector. We are so close, there are so many moving averages so tight. The smallest thing can make us explode, and we've seen it before, right? We've also seen the lulls that come behind it, and I want to believe that this thing is going to be big. The problem that I'm seeing with this thing really is that like not a lot of big places. And when I say big, I don't mean like fantastic, but like I saw the same publication mention this, and then I saw Politico.com mention this, right? I haven't really seen bigger like I want Trump to say this on the live debate coming up, right? Like I want millions of people to hear him. This single tweet or whatever that he calls it on his website, it's gonna get lost in the hundreds that he does a day, a week, whatever, right? Like we need a louder moment. Okay, and again, I promise you, I hope that this brings the hype that people think it does, right? But yeah, the man needs to say this on a debate. The man needs to like make it, and again, or she can do it. Kamala has done this before. Kamala is the reason we flew to the threes, right? They each have the power to do it. They need to do it soon. All right, I talk about this all the time. When all the moving averages are so tight, you either confirm and fly or you lose them all and die. That's where that rhyme came from, one of my main catchphrases, right? I loved showing Palantir, PLTR, Palantir at $7. We're at 32 now, so you can you already know how the story goes. But look at this thing right here, right here. All five of them are a little loose, and all of a sudden they're so tight, they're so tight, they're so tight, they're so tight. And look, it's basically from March all the way till May before it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, right? It lives under the moving averages for days and days and days, right? I mean, we like when all the lines are tight, crazy things happen. And again, you either escape them all and fly, or you can see where this one goes, right? Or you're in them all, you're in them all, you're in them all, you're a $5 stock in them all, in them all, in them all. The other one was a $7 stock, right? All of a sudden it comes all the way down to here, right? You either break the cluster and fly, or you lose it and die, right? Tilray is there. Tilray really, really is there right now, right? Look at this thing. It's been a couple months already. And hey, for all I know, we might be in this till November. I don't know. I've been saying it for a while. I'm going to say it again. Tilray needs to break 203. It's really, really hard to believe until we can truly, truly know we've escaped the lines. All right. I obviously don't like that we're coming down to here, but again, that's an interesting doji on Friday. I don't know when that Trump message came, but you know me, I respect the dojis, right? Maybe that Trump news is going to be enough to bring us up to this 180, right? I don't know. Maybe that Trump thing is going to be enough for us to, hey, maybe we'll regain the 8 and come back up to this 590-ish. I don't know, right? But we're going to need a little bit more monumental. I think we're going to need it during a debate or something live, something televised, right? Like something with eyeballs on it, right? A single tweet, I'm just not the biggest fan of it because it's very easy to get lost in all of them, all right? So there was definitely a lot more thoughts and reflections on news and stuff, right? I think Tilray, I've probably given the best technical thoughts. So around this 12-minute mark, I'm going to kind of call it the official move into like technicals only, right? But look, Tilray on the daily has to break 203 in my opinion. We have a negative MACD, all right? We have a very, very, very flat RSI and rather insignificant volume. I think the good thing is, look, we've had places where we're way too far from the average line. We're way too far from the average line. We're actually in a healthy place, all right? This is the moment where volume is naturally around this 50-day line, this 14 million. Give me a good headline and we'll destroy this line. Give me a good headline and there's plenty of room for this RSI to go from 40 to 80, right? I just think we might be sitting in this limbo of all the moving averages going up, coming down, going up, coming down. And hey, for some people, those are fantastic trades. You basically trade from down here to here. Hey, maybe you trade from around here to here, whatever, right? You have these like barriers to go, right? For me, I want to break and fly and I want to sit back, put my feet up and watch this thing go up for days, right? That's what a sustainable uptrend looks like to me, right? So Tilray, those are my technical thoughts there, all right? CGC, my goodness, that DEA reaction was crazy because, again, 4 of the 5 moving averages were very tight and we were just going from the top to the bottom to the top to the bottom, like we were just dancing in them and we could have gone back up, right? But no, instead we DEA postponement drop, right? This one's a little bit scarier because, I mean, this is a red, 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 green, 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 red, red. Like this is a fast up and down channel to this 450 area, right? But again, we're hoping that Trump headline turns red, red, red into green, green, green. I think the minimum is this. Look, we need to regain, maybe that's a little too aggressive. No, it's not. Look, we need to regain $5.45 on Tuesday. Monday's close, so sorry if I said Monday earlier. We need at least half of this candle back in our pockets to believe that we might make a reattempt at the 8. Look, you fall from the 8, you come close to the 8, you fall from the 8. Hopefully we go back and then over the 8, right? Personally, man, this one's a hard chart. Honestly, I don't think I would touch CGC until it got over $6.50. All right. When I click right here, you can see that the 200 moving average is sitting at 640. And that basically looks like it's flat. I don't think that's going to start shifting down anytime soon. I think I need this to get back over the 200 before I would consider it. I think Tilray is a little bit safer than CGC only because this doesn't look like a cluster anymore. This looks a little scarier, but hey, maybe these four lines were up here, then they come down here. Maybe they'll kind of recluster around here and we'll kind of live here. All right. Let me know if that made sense, right? But one thing I'm seeing is we're just kind of like following this 50 moving average down. So maybe we'll hopefully try to make another reattempt up at that 50 at some point. But yeah, it actually looks like as I'm looking at CGC a little bit more, we're following the 50 down and yeah, I would not touch this thing until it got over 650. I think as I'm looking at this more, that's that. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money, right? I never use the words buy, sell, hold. I'm just giving you my thoughts. What does the weekly look like here? Yeah, look at that. So the I mean, it's basically the 50 also here. The 50 moving average is at $6.40. I think that's a big line right there. 670 roughly. Yeah, I think the daily and the weekly are both saying we got to get a lot closer to 650 before we can like things here. All right. Let's take a look at SNDL. Yeah, I think SNDL kind of the same thoughts as the other one, right? This 210 is going to be a real and really, even as I'm looking here, we have two moving average, the 50 and the 100 basically looking like they're going to go horizontal for a while this 8 and the 20 come down, and this one, I'll say this. I think I can lower this line. I think I would feel comfortable putting you here. I would love SNDL over 218. It's a little difficult to like it under, but one thing you can do is try to capture the 8, work your way to here, and then work your way here. There are decent channels right here, and really the same, I guess, could be said about CGC. Like there's a decent spacing between the 8 and the 20, between the 20 and that right there, right? I think it's just a little prettier on SNDL. Nonetheless, though, I think 218 is that money line. If we can break 218, man, green, red, green, red. That should be a real fast up and down to 290. Yeah, I like that. I don't think we need to look at the weekly. ACB, how you doing? Okay. I would say okay. I would say AC. Okay, look, I remember being really bullish on ACB on one of my last videos. I mean, they had good earnings and they basically held while the others were kind of going down. I easily can see the downtrend. Don't get me wrong, and we're actually below earnings. I don't know if earnings was this day or if it was this doji right here, but I mean, we're basically below or at the earnings moment, right? This is nicer. This is at least nicer, but hey, same basic comments, right? Can I lower this line? Give me a second. How about to, no, how about to here? Okay, I don't mind this. So it's almost the top of this. It's kind of the half of this. And it's the bottom of it. I don't think this is the strongest line. It probably wants to be that. How about you? I'm okay with this line. Let's call it 560. I think that's actually probably exactly where I was. I went back to the bottom of this. That's actually the same half of that. I don't remember the line that I put. I like the 660 number. I think for me, ACB, I would love to enter this thing just over 660. Hopefully we ride on up. Again, this one came off of good earnings, right? The problem is, again, we see that same DEA postponement gap down right there that we saw with the other ones, right? Hopefully the Trump stuff. It's basically the same chart across all of these. Oops, wrong button. MSOS. Again, gap down. Decent channel for sure. Okay, let's do that. Honestly, I'm going to delete this line. I don't even think we need that line anymore. Get me over the 50 moving average and I'll believe that we'll make our way on up. All right. Obviously, the better place would be to wait for that right there. It's the same thoughts. And then let's end it out with high tide. Oh, high tide. Look at you. Look at you, high tide. Okay, sorry, I'm obviously quiet because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking here. There's a number of significant differences from everything that we saw. Let me know if there was any news. All right, so I don't even know where to begin. I think I want to start here. All right, I love it when the high of the day, you can see it's the third line in the box over there at 204. I love it when the high of the day is also the close of the day, which is that green button, the green number, and that same 204 you see here, right? The whole day, people are buying, 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 and the market has to say, hey, we're done, get out of here, right? Clearly, we saw that here as well on the 19th, and a horrible confirmation after. So please don't forget what just happened a few days ago. But I like the setup. It's arguably a better setup because hey, this was under and closed over. This one actually gaps over both the line and my resistance, right? And it's actually the day after a very, very textbook doji. That's something you're going to hear me say often. A doji screams uncertainty. The day after should tell us the truth, all right? You actually can kind of see it a little bit here, and then it was just the rejection from the moving average, right? But this is making me believe that this thing wants to actually come on up to 216. Um, and then, yeah, I don't need to draw another line because, yeah, get over 216. And it just really is red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 nothing, 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 red, red, green, 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 right? So MACD is actually positive. I think all the other ones were a negative. And we actually have a decent green over red on both. And hey, 62 is a very nice number, right? Like, oops, sorry. There's still decent room between here and 80, right? So this is actually the best setup on this, and I am very surprised to see this. Again, I don't look at these before I make these things, right? So let me know if there was news or a reason. I mean, look, at the minimum, there's some technical stuff that we can see here, right? I mean, like this is the same story that I was saying on the other ones. When you have all the lines so close, you go to the top, you go to the bottom, you go to the top. I don't know if we're just gonna get sucked back down or keep going, but yeah, this is knocking on the door of trying to escape these four. Let me know if there's news. Otherwise, yeah, I think it's just right now. It's on the better side of that tornado yo-yo, if that makes sense from earlier. Okay, so I don't know if I was rusty or not. I felt a little rusty, I'll be honest with you, but man, I enjoyed making this so much. I will make more for sure, for sure.